Good morning. My name is Chris Johnson, and as you heard earlier, I'm the Chief Financial Officer. Although I'm a new face here at Basin Electric, my knowledge of the cooperative and the cooperative family spans decades. I started my career with Southern Company in Atlanta, Georgia, and approximately 20 years ago, I moved over to the electric cooperative industry and worked for both Oglethorpe Power and Georgia Transmission in a variety of finance and accounting roles. Most recently, I was the Vice President of Finance at Tri-State Generation and Transmission Association in Colorado. Since our move to Bismarck, my wife Melissa and I have thoroughly enjoyed the beautiful summer here and all the wonderful activities that our region offers. It is an honor to serve the Basin Electric membership. I've always been impressed with Basin Electric, and working here for the last 7 months has reaffirmed to me what a well-run and member-focused place Basin Electric is. Every day, I have the opportunity to collaborate with a team of hardworking, talented, and motivated people who understand the significance of the work that we do for our members. This team is made up of folks from several departments, including accounting, treasury, insurance, resource planning and rates, and procurement. Together, we help procure, finance, insure, and account for the assets that provide power to our members. We have a lot going on right now. Accounting has been hard at work developing the 2025 10-year forecast, and our tax group will soon be filing our 2023 federal tax returns. Treasury is preparing to raise a significant amount of capital in the upcoming decade, and the insurance team is busy developing strategies to help manage our liability insurance coverage and wildfire risk. Resource planning and rates is working through the development and implementation of new rates, and the negotiation of several power purchase agreements related to the Inflation Reduction Act New Era program. The procurement department continues to help the organization navigate persistent supply chain challenges. 2 of my teammates will be presenting financial updates for you after my remarks. Katrina Wald, Basin Electric's Vice President and Controller, will share the 2023 and 24 year-to-date financial results. And Sarah Scherm, Vice President and Treasurer, will provide you with what Basin is doing to raise capital now and into the future to fund investments. As we focus on the theme of this year's annual meeting, investing for the future, it is important to understand just what the word investing means. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines the word investment in 3 ways: to commit money to earn a financial return, to make use of for future benefits or advantages, and to involve or engage, especially emotionally. Our IOU, IPP, and power marketing friends invest capital to earn a return on their investments. Basin Electric invests members' capital and issues debt to essentially fulfill our mission to provide reliable and affordable power, products, and services to sustain the quality of life for our members across rural America in a safe and socially and environmentally responsible way. To that end, Basin Electric is investing in existing and new generation and transmission assets and in people and technology. Based on the needs of our members, we have invested over $1 billion in capital projects since 2018. As has been mentioned earlier, we anticipate extraordinary growth in the coming decade. In 63 years, Basin and its members built an $8 billion balance sheet, and we will invest almost $8 billion over the next 10 years. Planned investments include $5.3 billion in new generation, $1.2 billion in new transmission, and over $1.2 billion in existing generation and transmission upgrades. One of our strategic objectives is financial performance and agility. We are determined to meet our annual budget margin goal and annual and long-term capitalization and debt coverage ratio targets in order to maintain an A credit rating. Additionally, as Sarah will later describe in further detail, we will maintain ample liquidity and diverse capital funding sources in preparation for this aggressive capital expansion. I am confident in Basin Electric's ability to execute these plans and raise the capital needed to meet our reliability goals and future load growth. Let's focus on the generation side of things first. At the end of 2023, we had over 5,200 megawatts of maximum winter generating capacity that we operated, and over 8,100 megawatts of generating capacity within our resource portfolio to meet member obligations. The net book value of our generation assets was approximately $3.3 billion. Included in our total capacity is approximately 4,300 megawatts of dispatchable resources, coupled with over 300 megawatts of hydroelectric resources. The portfolio of power supply resources includes owned generation, long-term purchase power contracts, and spot market energy purchases. These resources are fueled by a combination of natural gas, coal, wind, hydro, solar, and fuel oil. We have fuel diversity in not only the types of fuels, but also in fuel sources. We have diversity in technology and in our units across the vast geographical footprint of Basin's membership. Our all-of-the-above strategy has allowed us to effectively supply power to meet the needs of our members. Our construction work in progress has grown to over $500 million at the end of 2023, primarily due to the construction of Pioneer Generation Station Phase 4, which will add approximately 600 megawatts to our generation portfolio. We are now more than 50% complete with this project. We are also investing in renewables as part of our all-of-the-above energy strategy, with over 2,200 megawatts of generating capacity from renewable resources. In 2023, we added the 142 megawatt Aurora Wind Project and the 200 megawatt North Bend Wind Project to our power supply portfolio. This year, we began purchasing 114 megawatts of solar output from the Wild Springs Solar Facility. Basin has committed nearly $7 billion towards renewable resources through direct investments and annual payments through purchase power agreements. Basin Electric plans to submit an Inflation Reduction Act New Era application next week. This will add nearly 900 megawatts of additional new renewable resources in the form of wind, solar, and some battery storage. These projects will be located in the MISO, SPP, and Western market, and in the states of Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. The New Era program will allow us to cost-effectively and methodically add renewables over our entire footprint in the coming decade. After the completion of these projects, it is anticipated that Basin will have over 3,000 megawatts of generating capacity from renewables in our power supply portfolio. These resources will add to our already diverse set of dispatchable units and will have unique and different operating characteristics and capabilities. Our existing generation capital budget is focused on safety, environmental compliance, scheduled and preventative maintenance, and improving the availability and efficiency of our existing assets. Through 2023, Basin Electric and its subsidiaries have invested more than $2 billion in emissions control technology. Now, let's talk about transmission. Today, we have more than 2,500 miles of high voltage transmission lines across the 7 states of our 9-state service territory. We have transmission assets in both the eastern and western interconnection and have access to DC ties, which allow electricity to flow from one interconnect to the other. At the end of 2023, we had over $870 million net book value in transmission assets. Basin Electric plans on adding nearly 350 miles of transmission lines set to be energized by the end of 2027. This new transmission investment will enable us to serve forecasted load in the region and maintain the reliability that our members demand. Transmission investment is necessary for generation interconnection, alleviating congestion issues, and optimizing the use of our current and future power supply portfolio. An aging infrastructure replacement initiative has been underway since 2018, with the overall goal of systematically replacing the cooperative's current transmission system components that have reached the end of their useful lives. This effort will continue over the next several years and will ensure that these facilities will be reliable for the next 50 years. Investing in the future also includes investing in people and technology. People are our most important asset, and through training, professional development, and a strong safety culture, we empower them to achieve excellence, foster innovation, and ensure a safe and productive work environment. We will continue to develop our next generation of leaders, utilize AI effectively, and deploy evolving best practices across our entire business. Systems, markets, risk management strategies, and policies are becoming increasingly complex and require training. Because we are committed to our employees, we completed an in-depth analysis of our online training courses to ensure that we are focused on investing in quality content. By engaging with employees and incorporating workshop-style training, the safety team can revise procedures within compliance and, more importantly, create a step-by-step process that is easy for employees to follow. Speaking of safety, we have made great strides recently as we align and incorporate best practices into our audits, procedures, and safety programs. The future of safety must include a human-centric approach to be effective. It is important to understand how people interact with their surroundings and how this approach can create engagement and adaptability. Using a human-centric approach means having safety measures that are relevant and effective all across the board. We have also invested in our employee safety by completing a glove trial assessment of cut and impact resistant gloves to reduce the severity of hand injuries at 3 facilities. And we plan to incorporate these at all facilities in the very near future. Improvement must be intentional. We will continue to invest in people and in training. When it comes to investing in technology, our organization is embarking on a crucial journey to replace our enterprise resource planning system. This is a transition driven by the expiration of our existing systems in 2030 and the need to stay competitive in a dynamic business environment. This will be a fully integrated business system solution. This extensive process is projected to span over 3 years, during which we will methodically implement a modern ERP solution that will enhance our efficiency, data accuracy, financial reporting and forecasting, and our overall agility. Key functional areas that will be impacted will be finance, asset management, procurement, work management, data quality, and human resources. Throughout our history, Basin Electric has forged ahead with building a secure power supply system focused on diversity, stability, and innovation. From the earliest years to today, Basin has never wavered in our purpose to serve our member owners. The result is low-cost, environmentally responsible electricity for our members. But how can we ensure that we invest wisely for the future? Since 2015, the Basin Horizons Committee has been reviewing new and evolving technologies that could economically and reliably meet the needs of our membership. The committee meets as needed and often reviews technologies based on the requests of members. They continue to monitor the changes and limitations of evolving technology, some of which may have even been reviewed in the past. Each year, Basin prepares a 10-year long-range engineering plan that incorporates all major capital projects for the cooperative, and prior to spending any dollars on a capital project, there is a project review committee who thoroughly evaluates the qualitative and quantitative aspects of each project. The project review committee consists, again, of a cross-functional team, including marketing, engineering, environmental, operations, and resource planning and rates. Each major project has an executive sponsor, and the project review committee reviews the project to ensure there is alignment with our strategic objectives. Alternatives are identified, project risks and off-ramps are considered, and the economic merits of every project are justified. Projects that are approved by the project review committee are then presented to the board of directors for their consideration. The board receives periodic updates on the progress of all material projects. Investing for the future also requires that our highly experienced procurement team works with the project teams from the development stage all the way through project closeout. The procurement team develops and releases requests for proposals to vendors and monitors all aspects of each contract. As each contract scope of work is fulfilled, an extensive closeout process takes place, ensuring that all contractual obligations have been completed. In closing, I'd like to remind everyone that investing is essential for the future growth and sustainability of Basin Electric. Investing provides the necessary resources to expand operations, innovate, and remain competitive in a rapidly evolving market. Strategic investments will enable us to ensure reliability, improve our infrastructure, and adopt new technologies. As we look to the future, we will continue to invest in our members, our people, our assets, while maintaining sound financial management practices. We will also strive to continue to provide open and transparent communications with our members. We will continue to have a commitment to innovation and sustainability, and by prioritizing investment, Basin Electric will build resilience, drive economic growth, and ensure long-term success for our members. Thank you. I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible today and tomorrow. And now Katrina Wald will provide a financial update. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. As required by Basin Electric's bylaws, a report of the prior year's financial condition shall be provided at the annual meeting of the members, and so I will begin with an update of the 2023 financials. Deloitte was engaged to conduct the independent audit of Basin Electric's and its subsidiaries' 2023 financial statements. We are pleased to report that in 2023, Deloitte issued clean or unqualified audit opinions for the consolidated Basin Electric financials, as well as the Dakota Coal Company and Dakota Gasification Company financials. Now, this does not happen without a strong and dedicated team, and we have a team of 40+ in the accounting area with varying business and accounting credentials that are invested in the mission of Basin Electric to provide reliable and affordable power. The team ensures the cooperative's bills are paid timely, tax returns are filed, capital projects and assets are accounted for, financial forecasts and budgets are prepared, energy transactions are appropriately settled with our counterparties, and that our systems and processes are optimized so that we can provide monthly financial information to the Basin Electric management team, board of directors, and our investors and lenders. I am so honored to work with this team and proud of the work that we do in carrying out the mission of Basin Electric to provide electricity and other products that are necessary to sustain the quality of life for our member owners across rural America. The Basin Electric consolidated financials, complete with the notes to the financial statements, are included in the 2023 annual report, which was published earlier this year. The annual report and the quarterly consolidated financials are available on Basin Electric's website, with additional monthly information available to members on the members' website. As we get into discussing the 2023 financial results, it is important to reflect on the considerable growth that the cooperative has experienced over the last 20 years. Member load 20 years ago was around 9.5 million megawatt hours. Last year, member load was over 32 million megawatt hours. That's close to 2.5 times the amount 20 years ago. In order to serve that growth, total consolidated assets have grown significantly. Total consolidated assets were just over $2 billion 20 years ago, and at the end of 2023, total assets exceeded $8 billion. That growth in assets reflects investment in current facilities and new facilities to maintain reliability, which is core to our mission to provide reliable and affordable power. Amid that significant growth, Basin Electric has continued to maintain a strong balance sheet and ample liquidity. Liquidity at the end of last year was over $1.5 billion. That growth is also reflected in Basin Electric's consolidated margin and its margin target. In 2023, consolidated net margins and earnings were $148 million. Last year, Basin Electric saw a 7.5% increase in member load growth and established a record for peak demand in August at just over 4,700 megawatts. 20 years ago, Basin's system peaked at approximately 1,600 megawatts, so this is some considerable growth. However, there were challenges in 2023. The contribution from non-member sales declined with prices for Westside surplus sales decreasing as a result of lower energy prices in the West and also changes in other market conditions. Maintenance expenses were upped as planned maintenance was performed to ensure the long-term availability of our coal and gas generating facilities as part of the continued investment in reliability. Also, the volatility of power prices is having an impact on our costs, and we continue to experience inflationary pressures and supply chain challenges, and that is having an impact on operating expenses. In 2023, Dakota Gas experienced a net loss of $48 million, largely as a result of lower commodity prices and a major outage that was planned. Natural gas prices were down substantially from 2022, over 40% lower. Fertilizer prices also came down from their all-time highs in 2022. A planned black plant maintenance was performed at Dakota Gas to enhance the availability of the plant, which is ever more important with the commencement of the 45Q carbon capture and sequestration project that was placed in service in February. The 45Q project involves CO2 being captured at Dakota Gas and sent via an approximate 7-mile pipeline to a storage field where the CO2 is sequestered underground. Via the 45Q section of the Internal Revenue Code, tax credits are available for CO2 that is captured and sequestered in a secured geological site. These credits are currently worth $85 per ton of CO2 captured and sequestered, and Dakota Gas has partnered with a tax equity investor to monetize the credits. As mentioned previously, the consolidated margin last year was $148 million. But that includes recognition of deferred revenue out of the Rate Stability Fund of $65 million. Absent the recognition of deferred revenue, the consolidated margin would have been around $80 million, falling short of the consolidated margin target deemed essential to maintain metrics necessary for an A credit rating. The Rate Stability Fund was used to avoid an unplanned mid-year rate increase in 2023. At the end of last year, after recognition of the $65 million, the Rate Stability Fund stood at $350 million. Now we'll shift to financial performance this year. Through June, the year-to-date consolidated margin was $22 million, $27 million above budget projections. In the first quarter of the year, $20 million of deferred revenue was recognized. This was anticipated as recognition of deferred revenue was included in the 2024 budget. In the first 6 months, utility operations have exceeded budget expectations, whereas Dakota Gas and Dakota Coal's margins have fallen short of the budget projections. On the utility side, member growth is strong, with a new all-time system peak established in January at over 5,100 megawatts, which is an increase of 9% over the last system peak. Fuel expenses have also come in lower, related to lower natural gas prices and lower coal generation. Conversely, Dakota Gas has been negatively affected by the low natural gas prices. However, on a positive note, the 45Q capture and sequestration project has been performing well. Total volumes sequestered are 2 times the volumes assumed in the budget through the first 6 months of the year. In addition, as part of the 45Q transaction, Dakota Gas received cash up front. The cash was used to pay down debt, helping to delever Dakota Gas's balance sheet. As we talked through the 2023 financials and provided an update on the current year, it is evident the growth that the cooperative has experienced and the investments that are being made to fulfill our mission. I will turn it over to Sarah to discuss the options and plans we have to finance our future investments.
Thank you, Katrina. As we look to invest in the future of Basin Electric, one thing that will be critical for success is maintaining access to capital. To do this, we will rely on our existing resources and relationships, and will also explore new ways to fund projects. The members of Basin Electric are key contributors to our capital funding. Through the margin that we collect each year to maintain an equity ratio of 25%, our membership is directly funding a portion of our capital spending. Additionally, through participation in the Member Investment Program, members provide essential liquidity for Basin Electric while also earning interest at a competitive rate. In 2023, on average, members had almost $300 million invested in the program. Thank you to the membership for your continued support. Another way we access capital is through our banking partners. In 2023, we borrowed $80 million through the match program at the Bank of North Dakota, which helps support economic development in the state. Our relationship banks, a number of whom are in the room with us today, are longtime supporters of Basin Electric and provide liquidity through commitments under revolving credit facilities totaling $1.2 billion. They also provide options for direct financing to Basin Electric through funded term loans. These banks also help us access the capital markets by arranging either private or public bond offerings and bringing investors together to support Basin Electric. In 2024, we successfully issued $370 million of notes in the private placement market. To meet our future needs to fund capital projects, our ability to access these markets will be increasingly important, and we appreciate the expertise of our bank group in helping us to achieve this. Our access to the capital markets is also reliant upon maintaining solid investment-grade credit ratings. Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch ratings all confirmed Basin's A-level ratings in 2023. To support these ratings, the agencies look to the stability of the long-term sales contracts we have with our members, along with our financial performance, our rate stability fund, and our robust liquidity. As Basin Electric invests in an unprecedented capital expenditure program, we are looking to establish an all-of-the-above financing strategy to match our all-of-the-above energy strategy. As Chris mentioned, an internal team has been working hard over the last several months to prepare an application for the new ERA program, which we plan to file with the Rural Utilities Service next week. The potential to receive a combination of grants and low-cost loans will help to fund our investment in renewable resources to serve the membership. Additionally, for the first time in Basin Electric's history, in 2025, we expect to issue public bonds that will ultimately be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. This will allow us to access capital from new lenders at rates lower than what we can achieve in other markets. While we view this as a necessary and beneficial next move to take, we do not venture into this lightly, and will be working over the next year to document key financial controls and develop disclosure materials that will be required by the SEC going forward. Once this process is complete, we will join the ranks of Oglethorpe Power Company, Tri-State Generation and Transmission Association, and Old Dominion Electric Cooperative as electric cooperatives that are SEC registrants. As we move forward with these new types of financings, we will also continue to utilize our traditional sources to help support our overall funding needs and continued investment in the future of Basin Electric. Thank you.